Lovesick bride and groom. Okay, so 5-2 through what is next?
5-2 to 6-3. That would be the groom's song of love and the conflict of separation.
Separation. Keep going.
And then I have 6-4 outline, which is 6-4 to 8-4. The colloquy of friends.
The what of friends?
Colloquy. Communication friends.
Oh, okay. Oops.
And then the sixth outline, the sixth song is 8-5 to 14. That's how I read it.
And what is that called? 5 through 8. What is it? What is the last verse? 14. What is the last thing, Chris?
Metaphor. I think it's the metaphor. Beginning of the metaphor of love.
The metaphor of love?
Yes. So that would be under the marriage, when the marriage matures.
Very good.
So,
Wow, I like that. That's what I was looking for. Not necessarily a formal outline, but how would you break this apart so that it makes sense?
So if I may add,
Yes,
I
yes.
have the courtship as 1-1 to 3-5.
Uh-huh.
And the wedding is 3-6, 5-1, and 4-16 in the verses.
Courtship.
And then of course, marriage, when the marriage matures.
Which one is the wedding?
3-6, 5-1, and 4-16.
Oh wow. So you 3-6 to 4-16 is the wedding?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me do that. Wedding, and then the rest of it?
Marriage maturity.
Married. Wow. Yeah, Chris is definitely not getting clothes for Christmas. Wow, very good.
We just finished it.
Excellent. I know mine is a little bit scribbly because I'm trying to get everything, but very good. But again, the point of this is that's what I was looking for. If you wanted to take the time to break it down into Roman numeral 1, subsection A, subsection 1, subsection 1b, and all that stuff, you could do that. And the reason is, God is a God of order, not of chaos. Each book of the Bible has a structure to it. And being able to outline that structure helps you better to understand the book as a whole. What parts are being emphasized and where. Okay? Every single book of the Bible can be done this way, whether it's narrative, prophecy, poetry, or other. All of them can be structured this way. For example, I think I did this 2 years ago when we did the study of the whole Bible. An easy way to summarize the entire book of Genesis is to remember 8 items. You want to know what the entire book of Genesis is about? Here it is. Creation, fall, flood, tower. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph. That's the entire book of Genesis in a very simple outline. Creation, fall, flood, tower. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Joseph. I just went from Genesis 1 through Genesis 50. Now, the breakdowns and all that you would have to look into. But the point is, that's the entire book of Genesis in an outline form. Now, you can certainly break it down more formally, but the idea is the outline should give you a way of concisely framing everything. Now, I'm going to suggest this, and it's probably not going to be too far from this. The way I broke down this is 3 simple words: the leaving, the cleaving, and the weaving. weaving, the cleaving, like, and the weaving. Weaving, like I'm making an Afghan. I'm weaving. Okay.
Weaving like bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Cleaving like.
Cleaving like you come together.
Oh, cleaving. I see something.
Now, why would I put it this way? Because this is a marriage. And what is the procession of marriage, or what is the process of marriage? Well, you go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. God told you how marriage should happen, the process of marriage. Are you ready? Genesis 1:28. Oh, hold on. Wrong verse.
Chip, do you want the mic?
It's yes, give me the mic, please, if that'll help. I'm sorry, Genesis 2:24 and 25. Go away. There we go. Genesis 2:24 and 25. Therefore a man leaves his father and mother and cleaves to his wife, and the two become one flesh. Got it? So you leave, you cleave, and then you weave together. That is the biblical prescription or the process of marriage. You leave, you cleave, and you weave. Now, where is this in the Song of Songs? It's not too far off from what Chris said. 1, 2 through 3, 5 is the leaving, the courtship, the dating part. The wedding, the cleaving, is 3:6 through 5:8. And then 5:9 to 8:4, 5:9 through 8:14, 8:14 is the weaving. It's what happens after the wedding is over. It's what happens after the wedding is over. As I have learned, one of the things that's been drilled into me is a wedding does not a marriage make. And the Song of Songs certainly supports that. A wedding does not a marriage make. The wedding is just the beginning. The marriage is the building together, the weaving of the man and the woman together. Okay? Think of it this way, if you want to spiritualize it, baptism does not a Christian make. It gets you in, but a fully mature, holy saint takes a lifetime to build. That's the weaving. Get it? A wedding does not a marriage make. And in our society today that is romanticized, physical love and romantic love, the wedding seems to be the end of the story. If you think about modern movies, the whole plot is about he's trying to get her. And what happens at the very end of the movie?
They get married.
They get married and that's it. When you think of fairy tales even, the prince and the princess, what's the last thing that you say? They live happily ever after. Period. Right? The last scene is Cinderella and the prince and the coach, and that's it. As if there was nothing more that happens after the wedding. The wedding is just the beginning. Okay? So this is how I would break down the Song of Songs. That it teaches us how to leave, cleave, and then weave in this romantic love. Which is what you would expect out of a maturing love that God is trying to teach his people in terms of covenant relationship. He wants us, if you think about it, look at 1 Thessalonians. 1 Thessalonians 1:19. I've used this verse before, but it's good to see how it is used in terms of this context. I'm getting there. Page 171 if you have my Bible. New Testament. I'm sorry. I'm just losing it today. 1:9, not 1:19. I know. It's old age, I'm telling you. Okay? For they themselves report concerning us what a welcome you had among you, how you turned to God from idols to serve a living and true God. Did you catch that? So you leave the idols, you cleave to the one God, and then you serve the one true God. Get that? The leaving, the cleaving, and the weaving. This is also a good verse to describe biblical repentance. What does repentance entail? Turning from idols to God to serve Him. So it's not enough to just say, I'm sorry for my sins. It's you do something different. You serve. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay? In the same way, you just don't leave your father and mother and marry some woman and then do nothing. Right? Does that make sense? No. You build a life together. Okay? And that's what you do in biblical repentance. You turn from your former ways, you turn towards God, and then you build a life with God afterwards. You leave, you cleave, and you weave. This is why biblical marriage, this is why the sacrament of marriage is so much like our relationship to God. You can't escape it. Okay? I'm looking at my time. I know how it always escapes me. I want to get to the theme verse. Who would like to share? What is one verse that would summarize this entire book? And why would you pick it? Father, I see that hand. Theme verse. What is it? Okay. Floor recognizes Chris, who's getting closer and closer to heaven.
All right, Chris.
Theme verse.
The theme verse I pick is 6:3. My beloved is mine, and I am my beloved.
Closer to the mic. Say it again.
Theme verse 6:3.
Okay.
That says, my beloved is mine, and I am my beloved. And
What?
this comes from my personal experience, if I might share 2 minutes. I was married. And the marriage wasn't fun. I was said to have failed in all my duties and responsibilities as a wife. And the criticism chased away the respect, the sexuality, the love, and you name it. We ended up going our separate ways after 2 beautiful children. But there was one constant as far as I am concerned. And that is the love and forgiveness
Anyone else have an alternate verse? Martha. Remember, put it right up, kiss the mic. You have to be very close to it. Otherwise, it will not come through.
Okay, the one that I like is on page 93, 216. My beloved is mine, and I am his. Can you hear me?
Yes.
There is a mutual love, the covenant, and the commitment. Persons bound by reciprocal obligation of love and loyalty toward one another. And then it uses a lot of places in the Bible, such as Ezekiel. Marriage considered a covenant in ancient Israel.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Expression, the other explanation is expression is much like the so-called covenant formula used elsewhere in Scripture to describe God and his people as belonging to each other. And it is Leviticus, Ezekiel, Revelation.
Yes. Very good. Yes. That's excellent. And as I've heard, people were saying, it's the same verse. You're right. You're right, it is the same verse. What does that say?
It's definitely a theme.
It's definitely a theme, because if you're repeating yourself, that's a big clue that that's a main idea. When God is repeating himself, when God is repeating himself, when God is repeating himself, guess what? It may mean that we should listen to it. That's probably a clue. So when it says, I am my beloved and he is mine, probably, and it says it in more than one place, it's probably a clue. It's at least a big idea in the book.